Gonna win this week, David. We're gonna come out with a game plan on Friday on Old Man's Opinion. And we are gonna win our football game. We're gonna get back on track. We're gonna start the streak. The next three, we're gonna win the next three for sure, and then take the next three from there. That'll make us 4-2-1. We'll be on our way. There's no slouching in Philadelphia. This is our game. It's our revenge game. Get your team ready to play, Zimmer. Remember, tell them how much you got your ass kicked last year. This is your time. This is your chance.
It's Dave and Ted. He's back, and Drew Bunting back for Good Morning Gjallarhorn in the Raw, the post-game show.
How many shots have you had today,
Drew? I think all we need to do is let Dave run this show. We see that.
Holy shit!
Dave hasn't. Hasn't done any shots. No. I stuck with and I don't have any here. I've put them away for the night. My Sierra Nevada Torpedo Extra IPA. And yes, I've had quite a few.
You look like a drunk Grimace. You look like
you don't have enough hair to have a man bun to be drinking IPAs.
No, IPAs are great, baby. All right, Ted, you want to talk? When you were just a youngster and I was stationed in England back in
for fuck's sake. Hold on. Let me
Pack your bags. We're going on a guilt trip.
Hold on.
That's right.
Let me get my pillow. So wake me up when this shit's over with.
Get out of the game.
There's
what a game it was.
A IPA or a bitter ale, baby. Best beer made. That's the only thing the Brits do well.
Things. Yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, I could have a bag of used buttholes that would taste better.
Oh shit! And he ain't kidding. He's an Ohio State fan. He's actually had a bag of buttholes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Today,
the purpose of this show is Vikes win. Vikes win. Vikes win, baby! We beat the Eagles.
We brought our hard hat today. The Vikings brought their hard hat right here, and they got it done.
Sweet.
They did.
Speaking of hard hats, you see my new T-shirt? Hey, baby.
Nice. Where'd you get that at?
For me.
That is pretty. I like that. That's nice.
Yes, it was. And then my daughter... Because I lost my old.
Now you're helmets. Set. Now you got to every show you got to have that on.
It gave me a new helmet. Yeah, baby.
Back in the winning margin finally. Holy shit, it's been a while.
You betcha.
Good looking hat, David.
Hey, it looks good.
You look like a real professional football analyst right now.
I'll bet I do. Yeah.
Yeah, you look like the Sons of Anarchy Sergeant at Arms is what you look like.
Oh, shit.
That'll work. It works for me, baby.
Freddie Zamberletti would love that.
Sergeant Arms, call the meeting to order.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, this is George Kittle. We got it done. We beat Philly.
Fuck George Kittle. However, the tight end did get the Philly tight end did get some yards on us.
Did we
not? It was during garbage time, though. It was garbage time, though. It was like, Zimmer, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the prevent defense, but you're up 23-14. You just want them to eat clock and kill time. And so what if they score a touchdown? As long as you recover the onside kick, which they almost didn't do.
But that thing bounced off Thielen's fist. I went, holy shit, here we go.
How about gag?
But thankfully, Thielen has some hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to say this right now. I don't want to hear about Antonio Brown anymore in the NFL wideout he's not the best. Adam Thielen's the best wide receiver in football.
Yep. Just tweeted that out before we started this show. Adam Thielen is the best wide receiver in the NFL. Full stop.
Bam! Bam!
First wide receiver ever to start the first 5 games of the season with over 100 yards.
I don't want to hear about Antonio Brown anymore. It's Adam Thielen's game, baby. It's all him.
Yep.
What a game.
Undrafted, walk-on.
Both those guys. Look at our wide receivers. Take the wide receivers out of this game. I mean, what if we had Aldrick, Robinson, and Treadwell as our wide receivers?
Or just think back what in 2015 or 2016, y'all thought Charles Johnson was going to be the next big thing. No, seriously. Remember that? I mean, when I guess it was a 2016 preseason before Teddy's knee got hurt, it looked like Charles Johnson and Teddy were kind of getting some kind of chemistry, and you thought, Charles Johnson's going to be the next big thing. Yeah.
Did not think Charlie Johnson was going to make the show today. That is just beautiful.
I'm just saying. I mean, it's been kind of Mr. Toad's wild ride for the wide receivers over the last couple of years, but Diggs and Thielen, man, they have stepped up.
What a game.
Where would this team be, honestly, as poorly as the running game has been this year? Where would this offense be without Stefon Diggs and Adam Thielen?
Nowhere.
It'd be miserable.
It'd be 0-5.
But
4-1.
I've still got Fox on TV, which is right over my shoulder over there. And they just showed the Linval fumble recovery, because it was technically a strip sack by Weatherly, and return for touchdown, baby. I love the fat bellies running the long way.
Well, we said last week when Ted was in Africa, when we had our show, we needed a splash play out of the defense. You can't get a bigger splash than the big Goon running with the ball.
No, that was not. Linval eats, baby. Linval eats.
That was a splash play we needed to jumpstart the whole team that we talked about last show. The fact that I said it, I'm tooting my horn a little bit, but that's what we needed to get this team. Defensively, we were back on track in the first half. We bent, but we didn't break, Ted.
Yeah,
we didn't break. A lot of those drives.
And then Dan Bailey missed 2 more field goals today.
Oh, don't go there! Don't go there.
Unreal, dude, about our kicker.
What happens with kickers? Although at least he wasn't as bad as Mason Crosby. Did you see that early game, the Packers and the Lions game?
Yes, that was beautiful. He missed 4 field goals today?
I wasn't watching. I get messages though, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, Mason Crosby couldn't have hit air if he was skydiving today, man.
Good for him. I couldn't think of a better kicker to have it happen to.
But I mean, yeah, this win, just kind of going back to the Vikings, this win was very indicative of how they won games last year. I mean, it was close. It was solid defense.
Turnovers.
Bend but don't break, like you mentioned. Defense got a couple of key turnovers. The Joseph strip sack, fumble recover for a touchdown, and then the Ajayi fumble on the 5. I think they were getting ready to go in and score. And then just kind of a very workmanlike offense. I mean, Kirk Cousins had another good 300 yards, a couple TDs, didn't make any mistakes. It was a very Mike Zimmerish type win for this Vikings team.
How about that play calling and overall, especially in the first half? Brilliant.
From Vikings DeFilippo? Yeah, I mean, he didn't abandon the running game. It wasn't going great early, but he stuck with it and just made the Eagles play an honest defense. And I think that paid dividends in the second half. When you saw that last drive, when Murray made some really key runs and they got that big field goal by Bailey, that's kind of, the first 3 quarters set up that last drive, I think, to kick the field goal to win the game. And it was, a thoroughly enjoyable win. Nail biting.
That was the dagger drive. That's the drive that teams make, that the winning teams make. They make that drive to cap it off and end the game. And I actually had somebody from the Gjallarhorn group on the phone with me because they were in a storm and their TV went out. So Kyle Kyle called me, goes, dude, would you mind doing play-by-play of the last 10 minutes of the game in the fourth quarter? So I was doing, and I was pretty damn good at doing the play-by-play. but I don't know. I was trying to do a lot of F-bombs in there, but I think I did okay. But we were talking during that drive going, this is the drive that's the difference of good teams right here. We need to drive down the field, chew the clock up, and show that we need to win this game. You play too well. You can't blow a game like this at the end. So
and they did. And that was kind of the thing about Kirk Cousins too.
But all of us that have been around forever, our hearts were going, no, don't do this. Don't do this.
I thought for sure after the Eagles scored, they were going to recover the onside kick and kick a field goal and win the game.
Right.
I had no doubt in my mind.
I was going, you know what? When Rock Thomas dropped that ball and they recovered it, that's when I said, oh, shit. Here we goes 1-3-1. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was bad.
They had a first down. You talk about the dagger drive on offense. How about we talk about the dagger drive on defense, which was Philly 1st and 10 at our 30, down 20-14. And we held them without even attempting a field goal.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Dagger drive for the defense. You got to hit. That's the defensive play of the defensive plays of the game right there. That was huge.
Ridiculously important sequence. Yes.
And I don't get who's their head coach. First off, I don't understand why they went for 2. But in that situation, it was 4th and 20, and he's running his offense out there, and I'm going, this is awesome.
Doug Peterson made some really questionable decisions. You add that whole sequence along with the challenge that Diggs catched. I mean, it was obviously a catch. I mean, that was something like Zimmerwood challenge.
What the hell? That guy's stoned. What kind of challenge is that?
That cost him big. That was a huge timeout they really needed.
Yes.
At the end of the game that they didn't have. And it was that challenge made absolutely no sense to me, other than he might have thought when Diggs got his first foot in that he didn't think it was down before he caught it, but he got 3 feet in. It was weird. I didn't get that. I didn't get that challenge at all. That made absolutely no sense to me.
Might be the worst challenge I've ever seen.
Right up there, yeah, right up there.
I've seen a lot of challenges in my day, guys.
You've had quite a few too.
Oh, yeah, I've had some challenge. Like when I went 3 rounds with Tank Abbott. You guys remember him?
Tank Abbott? No.
He's like when UFC first started, when it was a big guy named Tank Abbott. And if you got in there with 3 minutes with him and sparred with him, you got $100.
Did you get $100?
Oh, it knocked the shit out of me. Yeah, it did. Yeah. Yeah, it was probably the worst decision I've ever made in my life.
Wow.
There's been quite a few, I'm sure.
On offense. And we did really this could catapult us into a little bit of a streak. Don't you think, guys?
I think so. You were talking about dagger drives. That one, I don't think the Vikings got any points off of it. I think Bailey missed a field goal. But after the turnover, on 2nd or 3rd down, I think it was, Cousins hit Thielen for that 65-yarder. I thought that was a big play too, and it completely flipped field position, and it's one of those plays that just completely demoralizes the opponent. When you add that on top of thinking you're going to go in and score, at least get a field goal as a minimum, and then turn the ball over, and then the Vikings completely flipped field position and just sort of continued their first half dominance. I don't know if dominance is a good word, but they were, I think it is a good word. In the first half, they were pretty dominant all the way through. And it was just really nice to see this Vikings team show up after, laying the egg against Buffalo and then the Rams defensively.
I agree. How much run offense did we get?
No idea. I'd have to look at the stat. It wasn't a whole lot. I don't think.
I know it was over 50 yards in the first half, and in the second half they were going backwards.
But I mean, the yardage isn't so important to me as it is that the Vikings finally stuck with their running game for once. I mean, I finally got to rewatch the Rams game 3 o'clock this morning when I woke up from jet lag. And they just, and same with the Bills game 2 weeks ago. They just completely abandoned the run game early, like midway through the second quarter, and just decided to throw the ball, which, if you're converting first downs and scoring, that's one thing. But, I mean, if you make yourself one-dimensional that early, you're going to have a hard time winning football games. And it was nice to see the Vikings just stick with the running game, even though it wasn't getting really tangible gains early on. It paid dividends in the second half.
It may not show up big in the box score, the rushing yards, but they had a lot of really nice, timely runs.
Yes. Very good point.
That last dagger drive that we call the dagger drive, I'm going to call it that all season because it's a bitchin' name.
But you didn't want me to post the dagger.
You know what? Murray had some fantastic runs in that. And it might have only been 4-yarders in that drive. But he ran one for 4, and I think he ran one for 12 or something. Then he ran one for the point is he wasn't getting stopped. He was getting 3 or 4, and he was eating the clock. Murray did a great job on that dagger drive. That was his drive.
2nd and 6 or 2nd and 7 when you're up in the fourth quarter with the clock still running is a lot better than 2nd and 10 after an incomplete pass that stops the clock. And that's what the Vikings did today.
And we started that drive with about 7.5. It was around 8 minutes left. On the second, we got a first down. And then on the first play after the first down, I think we got a 4-yard gain. It was 2nd and 6. And I'm on the phone with Kyle and I go, I'd love to see him pass right here. Go play action, something safe. And they did it to Rudy. And he got another first down.
That was a great play call.
That's the kind of that's the play calls you need. You don't go into the shell and prevent offense. That's the attack mode you need to win football games. And
but those are the type of plays that open up to you when the defense has to respect your.
Yes. Yes, okay. Exactly right.
Okay. Yeah.
Just a great win. Just a well-needed win. I mean,
very much.
Speaking of running, what did you think of Rock Thomas?
Still not a huge fan of the guy compared to Boone. I think Boone's a better runner. I think Boone's a better running back.
Well, they have both of them featured.
Yeah, I know, but Thomas, he muffed that one pass. I think that was as much Cousins' fault as it was Thomas's by throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage. But it's right up there. He still should have caught the ball. And if nothing else, not fumbled it and gotten at least back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Part of the problem, and I'll throw this in real quick. When I was doing my draft research back in April, one of the guys I researched was Rock Thomas out of Jacksonville State. And the book on him was that he dances around too much. He dances around and doesn't hit the hole when he's supposed to. And I noticed a couple times when he ran it today, it's exactly what he was doing. He was running. He got something outside on the perimeter, and instead of taking it through the gap, he danced around and lost a yard. And I'm going, no, you can't do that. So it's just one thing on him, but I wish Boone would have got a few more carries.
Contrast that with Mike Boone, who just looks for somebody to hit and runs them over.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Rock Thomas is a scrub, but that's what you saw today, and some of his problems were some of the ones that were on his college write-up for draft day.
For those that do not know, Drew on the Gjallarhorn board posts his pre-draft draft board. And on there, he had Rock Thomas. And he specified specifically his strengths and his weaknesses. And boy, was he happy when the Vikings signed him.
Yes. Yeah, I'm still a bit. I had him number 15. He was my 15th best back on the list on my running back. So, yes, I had him at number 15 when I turned in my draft card before. I actually did pretty good. Out of the 200 draft picks, I think I had 170 that actually got drafted out of my guys. And I had Rock Thomas, even though he barely made my cut, he was the last guy on my board. I had him at number 15. So I was watching him all the way through camp, and when the cuts came, I kind of had I was telling my wife, I go, I hope Rock makes it. So, I've been kind of following that guy pretty closely through the draft system because he premier back who got into trouble ended up going to a smaller school. He went to Auburn. He was a 5-star recruit running back out of high school, and he got in trouble at Auburn. So that's how he ended up at Jacksonville State.
What did he do?
I don't know, man. He's probably smoking the pot.
Smoking
the
rock.
I think he was hitting the crack pipers. I don't know what he was doing, dude. It could be anything with these guys. But he got in trouble, and there was in Auburn. You know, they always have a big stable of tailbacks anyway. So he probably wasn't going to play a lot. But coming out of high school, that guy he had like 3,000 yards his senior year rushing.
Highest paid running back group in college football.
Is it? Oh yeah, it is. Since Cam Newton was there. You're right.
All right.
No, he did. I'm still. I don't know how good of a pro he's going to make, but when he dropped that ball, I told Ruby I don't want to see him on the field the rest of the season.
But he did make some good first downs and some good runs. I'll give him that.
The running game did what they had to do today. At least they weren't running it into the middle and getting no yards. I mean, that's pitiful. They did enough. They broke off a couple runs to keep the defense honest. You got to give it up for Cousins. I'm sorry, but I got to say, Kirk Cousins is a gamer. Dude, Kirk Cousins is a franchise quarterback. How many times are people in his face? You go back to that play Ted just talked about, the 60-whatever yarder to Thielen. Somebody was right up in his grill, and he delivered that thing.
His arm got hit. And he still delivered a perfect ball.
And not only that play, it was that play and another play and another play and another play, getting knocked down, getting drugged down, always delivering the pass. That guy is our quarterback.
Dude, speaking of perfect balls, it was the touchdown to Thielen over two defenders. Dropped it in the bucket.
Yeah, that was
Thielen's hands. In the end zone.
I'm not going to say it's perfect balls. That's you, Dave.
Yeah.
I was going to do a little phrasing thing there, but you know.
Oh, man. He's a gamer.
That's what you get for drinking IPAs all afternoon.
That's right.
I'm sold on
2% alcohol per beer.
When we first signed him, I was doing a little bit, you know, I was on that boat about, I don't know about this. He's changed my mind. Kirk Cousins is not a wuss. He's a gamer, dude.
The consistency of his throws in terms of accuracy and delivery and just putting the ball where only the receiver can get it is something we haven't seen
since Favre.
This team since Favre in 2009. And if you want to talk like a long-term quarterback, maybe Dante Culpepper back in the early 2000s for a few years when he still had, you know, Moss and all that to throw to. I mean, it's impressive to watch a really good quarterback run this offense because it's a pretty good offense when everybody's healthy. Yeah.
Could you imagine? I mentioned this on the thread. Could you imagine him with time in the pocket? I mean,
no.
He's doing all this under duress every week.
I don't think there were some plays where the offensive line just didn't give Cousins a chance today. I'll give you that. There was a couple plays in particular. One was a handoff where I can't remember who beat the Vikings into the backfield, but I mean, overall, I thought today wasn't terrible. Riley Reif went out in the second quarter, I think it was, and then Rashad Hill kicked over to the left side, and Brian O'Neill came in at right tackle.
What did you think of that? What did you think of their play?
I kind of thought things were better once Hill went to the left side and O'Neill came onto the right side. And I don't know, and I'm not saying Hill's a better tackle. I think Riley Reif's the better tackle in terms of left tackle, but Reif's something's up with him. I mean, his ankle is probably bugging him a lot more than he's letting on because last year he was a really good tackle, and this year he's really struggled. And I think that foot or ankle injury, whatever it is hampering his ability to be the best that he can be.
Do we have the horses up front to get this done this year, Ted? I mean, give me your offensive line, your summary on that.
You know, Elflein's back. And I think today was probably the best he's played that I've seen.
Minus that one snap.
Yeah, the bowling ball going for the 7-10 split.
But it didn't cost us.
It didn't.
It didn't cost us.
Here's what I would do. I would put Rashad Hill at left tackle.
Meow.
Was it the name escapes you? The center they traded for from the Giants, Brett
Jones.
Brett Jones. I'd make him the left guard. Elfline at center.
Meow.
I would Remmers back to right tackle.
Meow.
And then Isadora. I don't know who at right guard. Or you could put Remmers at right guard and put O'Neal at right tackle. I don't care.
I'm talking about as a group. Can we get this done? I mean, it's a glaring weak spot. We know that week too. It's really I'm up in the air.
Like right now, no, I don't think so.
I have a feeling if I sat here and told you we have the O-line to make a deep playoff run, I don't feel we do. But that doesn't mean we're out of it. I mean, we're gonna have to find different ways around it. Like today with the quick play calls and the bubble screen and the quick reverse to Diggs down about the 10-yard line. What a beautiful call that was.
That's what I appreciated from today is that we threw short the quick passes for 4 and 5 and 6 yards.
I mean, as a coaching staff, you just go, all right, our offensive line shit, we need to have different plays. Do you throw your hands in the air and decide to do that? Because even though that worked, that seems like kind of what we did today.
Right, but you notice they didn't switch the line. It was Reef, Compton, Elfline, Remmers, and Hill to start off, right? That was basically what we've had, other than, Elfline coming in last week.
Are they going to get any better at run blocking, though? I mean, we're just going to have no run blocking the whole season?
We're 5 games in. At what point – I always think there's a point in the season where I think you can get better, and then there comes a tipping point. It is what it is for the year. I mean, we're a third of the way into the season. I mean, if it's not going to get better by now, is it going to get better? I don't think. I don't know. I don't think so.
It's kind of what Bill Parcells is. By halfway through the season, for certain, you are what you are.
You are what you reckon you are.
And maybe just go max protection now. Leave Morgan in there all the time. Try to do the best you can. But I hate being one-dimensional because pretty soon you're figured out, and then you have nothing. But
there were glimpses. Yeah, there were glimpses of hope today, though. I mean, especially in the second half. So I mean, maybe that's something they can build on, and you can look at the individual strengths and weaknesses of the players on the line and say, this is what we do well, and work on that. We'll see.
So if you had to round it all up with this team, it's still the defense is going to determine how far we go.
Yeah.
If defense plays well, we're going to win football games. I don't think we played well today, but I wasn't looking for tremendous. I was looking for better than we have the last 3 weeks. And we did.
That's what we got. If this defense, what we saw today, shows up, this team can make a run and go to the playoffs.
They are who we thought they were.
Yes.
You know what, guys? Hey. Today was our first game when we got turnovers. We haven't had a turnover in a month.
Seriously?
I haven't even had any turnovers. I haven't had a fucking apple fritter, nothing. Because my rule is if the Vikings aren't getting turnovers, my ass doesn't get any either. So I'm glad. Tomorrow, I'm going to get a fucking maple bar and a big-ass fritter with butter on it.
Life's too short, man.
Yeah, we got turnovers today, and I keep pounding that and pound it. It's huge. Turnovers win you football games. Yeah, Jahi gave us a big one down at the 5. Look at the turnovers. That one happened at the 5, and then the other one was a touchdown.
Yep.
I mean, look at those 2 plays. The game was pretty much decided on those 2 plays.
Sure was.
Yep, and the other one was Linval Joseph, a big old round belly, running it down.
You kind of look like him. You should put some sunglasses on right now. You look just like him.
Yeah.
I love that look. I love that sunglasses.
That was funny. With the oxygen mask.
But you know what? The defense did play better, and I'm pretty fired up about that because it gives me hope.
Yeah. Like I said, if that defense shows up, that's the defense we saw from last year.
Yes.
And if they got it figured out today, then okay, this team can go on a run like they did last year when they were 2-2, and then Case Keenum kind of caught fire, and Latavius Murray and Jerick McKinnon sort of integrated in the offense, and they sort of took off. They won 8 or 9 in a row, I think it was.
Right. And they were feeling good about themselves.
Yeah, this defense, if they play like they're capable of playing, this team can go on that kind of run again. But they've got to be a lot more consistent too.
I'm going to throw something defensively at you guys, and you guys can give me both your answers on it. And I know this is just going to be something that we're going to have to deal with the whole season. Why is there still people running completely free in the secondary? Why? I guess that's just going to happen from week to week. I sit there with my hands in the air watching the game, especially the replays. I see the pass out to Smallwood. Nobody's around.
Yeah, I don't know. That's aggravating. I mean, we didn't see that. I think that they have given up more big plays in the passing game. It feels like. I'd have to look it up to make sure, but it feels like they've given up more big plays in the passing game this year in, 5 games than they did all of last season.
And you got the big play, the big pass down in the first half, the 60-yard pass down the field when the guy caught it on Hughes. That was just a good play by the Eagles.
Hughes had good coverage. That was just a great catch.
Yeah, so I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when he throws and Ertz catches it and there's nobody within 20 yards of him. And I'm thinking,
oh, I know. Yeah, that's terrible.
And they show the replay, so they show like Kendricks and they'll show McKenzie, Alexander. They show the replay, and then he's going into their zone, and then they both vacate the zone. Even when you watch the replay, it's confusing. The replay is confusing. So I'll defer it back to Dave Stefano, who knows the schematics of all this shit. He knows pretty much how to break down a defense. When guys are catching it and there's nobody within 20 yards of him, somebody's got to be covering him. Even if you're in zone, somebody's got to be near him, and they weren't. And that happens every week.
A failure. Somebody screwed up.
Maybe they just rely on the pass rush. Zimmer says, if we can put heat on the quarterback, they don't have time to hit these open guys. But if we can't, then we're going to get burned.
No, there's still at least a 1-for-1 coverage within the zone, even if it's zoned. There's somebody, right, whether it be the corners or whether it be the safeties or the linebackers, that are covering the receivers in that zone.
Sometimes
if somebody is open by 20 yards, there is a misread by those players, and it's a failure, and somebody gets open.
So there's 3 guys covering one guy and nobody covering the other guy.
That's a screw up in the defense.
Well, why is it happening week to week? I mean, they look at game film, they got to correct that. If the Vikings,
it's Prefer's fault.
Yeah, it's Prefer.
They weren't doing that last year.
Prefer madness, baby.
Teams weren't burning us.
Kickoffs.
They weren't burning us for those huge plays. They brought their hard hat.
The Vikings defense last year was a lot more disciplined than they were this year. And maybe that goes to, Mike Hughes being a rookie and, whatever. I don't know. I mean, there's a couple different working theories I got. I don't know if they're worth a hill of beans, but
yeah, but
it's frustrating.
Got balls caught on him twice today that I saw that were big touchdown type balls. But he was there in coverage.
Talking about
he was right up on there, and his hand was on the ball. You can't get any better coverage other than punching the ball out and, making the play. Other than that, I mean, it was just that 50-50 receiver got it or the defender, busted it. He was there. I was impressed.
That's the only thing we got to clean up, are those big chunk plays in the passing game. Other than that, I think the defense, we don't really give up a lot of rushing yards, but the big chunk passing plays are really aggravating.
Yeah, it's either an assignment breakdown or a coverage breakdown or something. They got to figure that out.
Well, hopefully they will. And I think a lot of it has to do with the pressure on when we pressure the quarterback. I mean, even today it wasn't a lot of pressure, but there was some. It was more than there has been.
Good things happen, man.
Yeah. We're all the defensive line. I got to give them a little gamer effort today. They did good, and we can always talk about Gideon's special team tackles because he had a couple of those too.
Well, he had a block in the back that wasn't called.
Yeah.
Now,
put that horrible
to end this show. To end this great show, because the Vikings win and we want to celebrate it all night. But to end it, there's some other good news that happened before the game. The other good news happened in Detroit.
In Detroit.
That's right. as my
dude, you are
Melissa knows.
Hold your horses.
That makes Papa happy. One is a Vikings win, baby. A Vikings win.
Tell us,
Grimace. And the second one is a Packers loss.
You look like Charlie Daniels and Grimace had a kid and stole Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's glasses.
That's messed up.
I love to see Dave Stefano's big grin, though. That is a fucking winning grin right there. Look at that. Look at that. We won.
That's right. We won, baby. We won.
Close the meeting, Sergeant at Arms.
That's right. What do you have to say, Drew?
Meow, meow. Viking cow. Hail to the Viking. Wait.
What do you have to say, Ted?
It's not the beginning of the end, but it's the end of the beginning.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's deep. That's deeper. I think that's a Rush song, isn't it? There we go.
There we go, baby. Skol Vikings. Vikings win. Vikings win. Victory, baby. Victory.
Vikings win. Oh, you guys bust me up, man.